In today's video, I'm going to talk about a budget PC build that is upgradable and it's great for 1080p gaming right now. I'm going to break down the specifications and tell you if it's worth buying this PC build or a pre-built gaming PC. You will have the link to all of the components and the pre-built PC that I will talk about down below in the description. And before we start, because I know some of you are new to gaming PCs, I'm going to explain every component, how it's going to affect the gaming PC and your gaming experience. So without more to say, let's start. We are going to start with the CPU, which is the brain of the gaming PC, and it's going to be as well the GPU on this case, because it has integrated graphics card, which means that it doesn't need a dedicated graphics card. And we are talking about the Ryzen 5 5600G. This one is one of the best in terms of price performance for integrated graphics, and for 1080p gaming you are going to be able to average 170 FPS on CSGO, 70 FPS average in Fortnite, 50 FPS on average in GTA 5 and more than 100 FPS average in Minecraft. So for 1080p gaming is pretty decent and it's going to get the job done for now. And why do I say for now? Because this gaming PC is upgradable and I made it for you to upgrade it in the future, or you can upgrade it right now, but it's not what I recommend since the GPU market is too expensive, and if you want to buy a good graphics card you are going to be spending a lot of money. But if you want to buy a high-end or a medium-end graphics card right now, you can do it. So if you want to put a good graphics card in the future where GPUs are not too expensive, this gaming PC is ideal for you since it's a great all-around gaming PC and it's going to get the job done even with high-end graphics cards. The next component that we are going to talk about is the RAM. I put 16 gigs of RAM on dual channel, so that means 2 sticks of 4 gigs at 3600 MHz of speeds, which is great for an AMD CPU. And at this point, with 16 gigs of RAM, you can start doing multitasking, streaming, and your games will be much more consistent. Another thing that you can start doing is editing videos, so if you want to start your YouTube career, 16 gigs of RAM is the standard. So 16 gigs of RAM, great for gaming, good for editing, and definitely the standard nowadays. Now let's talk about the next component, which is the motherboard, which is the MSI B550A Pro. This motherboard is great for gaming and is going to support any graphics card that you want to put in the future or right now. So if you want to pair it maybe with a GTX 1650 Super or an RTX 3060 Ti, you can do it pretty easily. It has 4 memory slots, the maximum speeds of RAM 4400 MHz, and the maximum memory is 128 gigs. So this one is perfect for our build and for the upgradability in the future. The next component is going to be the case, which is the Corsair 4000D. This one it's an ATX mid-tower case and I've been watching a lot of YouTube reviews and I think this one is the best in terms of price performance, and it has a great airflow, plus it has a front mesh panel. So this one is great for our build. One thing I forgot to mention is the Cooler Master Hyper 212 RGB Black Edition cooler. This cooler is for the CPU and I didn't want to put a liquid cooler because I didn't find it necessary, so I ended up putting this CPU air cooler. For the storage, I picked 240 gigs of SSD, which is great if you want to put Windows on it, and 2TB of hard drive to put your favorite games and a lot of stuff, since 2TB I think it's enough for a lot of games. So I recommend you putting your Windows on the SSD, which is way faster than the hard drive, and use the hard drive to put your games on it. And the last component, but still important, is the power supply. I picked the EVGA 650 watts power supply to make future upgrades. This gaming PC only needs around 200 watts of power supply, but if you want to put a good graphics card like the RTX 3070, you will need this type of power supplies. So I think this one is enough for future upgrades, but if you want to put maybe like a 3080 or 3090, I would recommend going for an 800 watts power supply. But I think this one is enough for the average consumer, and if you click this video, you want a budget PC build, so I highly doubt doubt that you are going to buy a high-end GPU in the future. The grand total for this PC build is $755, and let's say in the future GPUs come back to the normal price, you will be able to get a GTX 1660 Super at around $200, and this 1660 Super is one of the best GPUs in terms of price performance at 1080p gaming, so there is no game that you won't be able to run at 1080p. But now let's compare it to some pre-builds at this price point, and let me explain the differences and what you should buy depending on your situation. And I'm going to compare it to this HP Pavilion gaming desktop because I think it's the best pre-built gaming PC in terms of price performance, and it's $700, so you will be saving around $50 compared to the PC build. So here we have the GTX 1650 Super, the i3 10100, 8GB of RAM, 256GB of SSD. So in this case you will be having a much better performance with the HP Pavilion, so I recommend you buying a pre-built gaming PC. But if you want to upgrade a gaming PC in the future with the graphics card, I recommend you going with the PC build. But if you don't care about upgrading things, you just want a gaming PC right out of the box and start gaming at 1080p, this HP Pavilion will be a much better option. You can still add some components that are easy, like the RAM and storage, which is what I recommend doing because 16GB of RAM is becoming the standard nowadays. So it really depends on what you want. If you want a gaming PC with a graphics card in the future, you don't care about the graphics card right now, or you are going to buy a graphics card and you don't care spending more than $1,000, then I recommend you going for the PC build. But if you want to play straight out of the box 1080p gaming, I think this HP Pavilion is going to be your best option. And if you like pre-built gaming PCs, you can watch my video about the best budget pre-built gaming PCs of the month by clicking on the top right of the screen. And if you found this video helpful and you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe, but most importantly hit the bell button so you get notified when I upload this type of content. Thank you guys for watching, thank you for the support, and I will see you on the next one.